are your destiny.
You understand? Unfortunately, in our United States of America, we are not taught about economics, right?
Right. Not at all.
With a purpose, and that's because if we knew about economics, we would know that our minimum wage today should be $30 an hour.
Right.
You know,
right.
That the average person working in the Jack in the Box or picking out their
There's no possible way of them supporting themselves in really any shape of dignity and justice would be at $7 an hour.
The average worker should be getting $50,000 a year as a minimum wage, right? But people don't even understand it. Especially now with the Supreme Court decision that allows the corporations to have unfettered,
Citizens United,
unfettered, amounts of money that you can go to Canada. And just as the bodies of people that have formed the Occupy movement here, these are the bodies that we need also to be able to vote and to get other people to vote, and so that we can get the Occupy movement candidates, right?
Right. So
in our Congress, and not the millionaires that we now have. 60% of the Congress right now are millionaires.
And I think a lot of people within the Occupy movement feel as though, yes, we vote, but our vote is not really counted because of the kind of corporate infiltration of the political system. So you mentioned Citizens United. I think a lot of people in the Occupy movement believe that that's one of the biggest problems that this country is facing right now is the corporate influence on the political structure. What are your thoughts about that?
I call it corporate control.
Yes.
We have, the country right now is under corporate control.
Yes.
When they talk about small government, what they mean by that, we want your tax dollars to go to our private companies.
Right.
You know, they shouldn't be government jobs, because government jobs, you have to have a minimum wage, you've got to have a health care plan, you've got to have a pension for government workers, and this is the whole push against government workers. If you give us your tax dollars so we can make our private corporation, then we don't have to give workers any protections, you know.
Right.
With your tax dollars, you become rich, so we can continue to oppress workers. So people have to understand those concepts, right? And the thing is that it's not enough, as you said, to elect someone to office. We've got to stay in their face.
Right.
Just the way that the corporate lobbyists said, they're in their offices every single day. We elect somebody and then we forget about it, right?
But I think it's really important at this point in time that Americans, whether it's this movement or some other movement, really get up off the couch, because I think we have very little time to really pull this country back from literally from the abyss. So what would you say to people that are at home but aren't actively engaging in this discussion? What would you say to them?
Well, I think that because of the corporate control of the media, we have to go to their homes.
Right.
We've got to go knock on that door, and we've got to get them off the couch and come to the door so that we can educate them on a one-to-one basis.
Yep.
You know that
non-violence, we're focused on direct action. The reality is that, we're getting things done. We're putting pressure every time. Right now at Bank of America Plaza, they put this big old green fence on their beautiful property now, and it's lowering their property value. So Brookfield is cutting its own throat when it comes to solutions. We're not a directionless group. We're a leader. We're a movement of leaders, not a leaderless movement.
And take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up.
Not only that, but we actually pulled off a beautiful stunt last week. We got good plans, strategies that are actually working. So yeah, I'd say we're being extremely successful.
This man just came in from Santa Barbara.
Tell us about that mural real quick. This is my first day back.
It's actually built around a fountain. There's a beautiful fountain in the center of this big box that the boys built to protect people from falling or hurting themselves on the wet fountain. And so as soon as that box was built, this dude started painting it with black. He painted the low corner first with just black. And then he grabbed a spray can and he wrote, "I am painting a mural," just to let everybody else know not to paint where he was painting. And then he covered the whole thing with the black and painted that. Take the power back. Booyah.
Get the mural now, Russ.
Yeah.
This day I would have said maybe a cowboy, then I would be a surfer.
Yeah, well, let's look at the word dude, right? Where did dude come from? You ever hear of a dude ranch?
Right.
Well, where do you think the surfers got the word dude from? The cowboys. You know what dude means? You know what a dude ranch is?
Yeah, it's like a dude, like a Dudley. Started out with Dudley. I grew up in Northern California too.
Oh, did you where?
Sacramento, man.
Oh, cool, man. Cool.
We're statewide here. They were Dudley, so then they called them a dude, right?
Yeah, man, I love Cali. They got the duds, but the thing is that the dude ranch is like, it said like the rookie cowboys, man. Like the rookies, the newbies, you know, the guys just getting their feet wet. So it's kind of funny how words travel from cultures, how cultures combine. So that's really what we're doing here. See, is we're combining cultures, right? Just like the surfers and the cowboys, dude. We got all these cultures all over the earth now combining. So religion, whatever you are, doesn't matter. Just jump on board. You know?
People.
Yeah, we're all one human family. We're all the same species. We're all human beings. We're all one family. So,
well, what's the significance of that little court area?
Oh yeah, sure. That's a sacred space, and you can go in there and make an offering. Some people put an apple or a crystal or a penny, anything, a feather, a leaf.
What would you say has been the highlight of the time that you've been here in LA, the moment? What was the highlight moment?
Oh, the highlight was just recently where we occupied B of A.
What was the highlight?
The highlight was when we occupied up the hill here. We all marched up to B of A. Okay? Here's how we did it. Okay? We had a perfect strategy. Because we were marching with at least 300. All right? So we had a union or two, and we had all of us occupiers, right? So we start marching out, we head on up, we get separated, they back off, we all reconnect, and we occupy the amphitheater right below B of A, the big tower, right? And the cops block off the top of the amphitheater to keep us contained on the bottom of the amphitheater, right? And while that was going on, a dozen people with tents ran up onto the lawn, even while the sprinklers were going off, and we set up tents. And we started occupying, right? And once we had the tents up, about 100 of us came and encircled that square that the tents were on, all that grass, right? And locked arms so the cops wouldn't come in. Boy, they wanted to come in, they were sticks ready. They were ready to knock those tents right off, but not when 100 people circled the whole block. So that's why we had everybody right there just ready to go boink. Little did they know, so we pulled that off like clockwork. So that was our highlight right there.
We've had some good strategy sessions. So you're also a filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
Guerrilla filmmaker?
Yeah. I'm more than a guerrilla filmmaker. I have a squad of digital artists. We are the digital guerrillas. And there's a core squad, there's also a global network. And we recruit wherever we go. And we hand out t-shirts.
Yeah, that was pathetic.
And they're like jerseys.
I don't smoke either.
So what I like to say is, a pen is mightier than the sword, and a picture's worth 1,000 words. So we're creating change with cameras, right? So you go to digitalguerrillas.com. Kong, you want to be a digital guerrilla, you go to digitalguerrillas.com and you click join. You join the squad. I don't care who you are. I will look at you. I might research you. I might meet you face to face. That's how it usually happens. Because we recruit directly, man to man, man to woman, man to child, all aboard that's coming aboard. Be a digital guerrilla, roll with Daddy Kong.
Those things all happen.
I'm telling you, it's important. It's important to have a camera on you these days. Because if anybody's going to turn on you, all you got to do is pull it out, on, throw a camera on them, bam, gotcha. What are you going to do now, son? I don't care who you are, cop, bandit, anybody. Covered. You see another person down the block getting like their purse snatched, throw a camera on them.
Put the light on, Russ. I know what I call it. Yesterday I saw, last night I went on the internet, I saw some of the things that took place at the B of A.
Yeah.
And as an activist for many years as I am, and also consider myself a guerrilla filmmaker,
As you can imagine.
I have a thing I call it real time. Meaning,
pretty close. I mean, I haven't seen it.
stuff hits the internet immediately. It's not documentary.
Straight up,
it's
live
here,
feed.
it's
We
here.
call it live feed, man.
What's your feeling about, you call it live feed?
Live feed, straight up.
What do you feel
Streaming
about
right on.
live feed and what it's done to activism and what, what role
Yeah,
it plays?
it's a beautiful tool, man. I love it. Why? Because I can be out there at B of A and my boy will call me up and be like, hey man, I just saw you in the live feed, come and say a word. And there's like 300, 400, 500 people watching right there. And you know what? If you can't come on out and be here, at least watch and pay attention and spread the word. Go to Facebook, go to the Digital Guerrilla Network and spread the word, right? Tweet it, whatever you got to do, but get it out there. Why? Because, like I said earlier, we're all one human family, but why is it so important that we have these technologies? Because it's efficient. Okay, so what we're all doing is we're collectively ascending. We're all waking up together.
I do like 6
okay?
o'clock, 7 o'clock.
So it's living lucid dreams.
Because people are
With
Right
me?
on, right on. I hear you. I'm with you. I hear you, bro.
For peace you can find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush not, child.